People in the US are getting really scared about violence, and I hate to say it, but that's actually a good thing. Here's why. Here we go. I better change my shirt so you guys don't know I'm doing all this on the same day. 1 second. There we go. Much better. Now, where were we? Yes. So, as I've discussed before, there's been a lot of violence and riots and things like that going on around the country. And a lot of that is centered around police brutality and people being essentially murdered by police. And then there's a lot of violence and breaking things that are happening, and the police are unable to really stop all that murder and violence and stuff from happening. And this is a really sad and scary time for people caught in these kinds of zones, and I'm sure it's going to cause a great exodus of people moving out of the zones that are most affected and moving to safer zones. Hopefully they don't bring some of the nonsense that they left where they're going. But that's a different story. What people are is scared for their lives and their safety. And I think that's a good thing to be scared, because it means that they're going to start to look for ways of actually being safe. Now, in the past, there's been a lot of talk of, are police even beneficial to begin with? And a lot of people were kind of not willing to engage in this debate, because they say, well, of course we need police because we want to be safe. And that is a very accurate statement to make. That is a very good sentiment. However, there are potentially more efficient ways of doing things. And a lot of that is making the police more accountable, training them better, making fewer of them, making them focus only on actual violent crime and crime prevention, doing all kinds of different things to the actual police. A lot of that also has to do with taking greater personal and community responsibility for defense, more firearms ownership and training, more community patrols, more taking care of yourself, more martial arts training, all that kind of stuff that could help us all become much better and safer. Well, now that there's enough violence and mayhem going around, that whole option of, well, no, we'll just like the system the way it is, the police are taking care of it, that's all out the window. There's no way to really realistically say that if you're in a city where you can expect riots to happen, your business and your personal self and your friends and family will be safe thanks to the police. You can't say that anymore. It's just over. You can't. And people are not now saying, well, I have to reevaluate my political positions. No, they're not. That's not how they think. They're just thinking, what do? I need to be safe. And then they do stuff like buy a gun. And guns and ammo sales are through the roof now. And that's a great first step. And seeking training for that is another good step. Taking care of things on their own and in their communities is even better. And what we're seeing is a breakdown of the law enforcement system as far as its ability to protect people's lives. In some cases, they actually instigated the issue. They actually took lives from people that should otherwise have kept them. And in the backlash against that, we're also seeing that they're unable to protect people who they were not going to kill. They were already failing to protect those people. And more importantly, their property. I don't say more importantly because it's more important than human lives, but it's something that's been very much ignored by a lot of jurisdictions, is people's livelihoods. People are having their shops smashed. I remember one UFC fighter in particular was sad that his parents' little convenience store was smashed, that they were immigrants that moved and worked really hard so he could have a dream of becoming a professional fighter, and his parents' shop just got destroyed by, lawless rioters. And guess what? The police didn't do anything about it. And guess what? The government can't do anything about it or won't do anything about it. And he's just up to the community and people like that to help. When we hit those kinds of places, we start to actually see that it's not just a system that needs reform. It's a system that just doesn't work when push comes to shove. Only when there's very little stuff happening do you see any kind of action. But right now, we need to defend for ourselves. But guess what? We always need to defend for ourselves. Now we just know it. Now we just can't hide from it. So now we'll do what we always should have done. It's kind of like, say, being in poor physical shape, but being with a very forgiving partner. And because you got them locked in, you think that everything's going to be okay. Eventually, something bad happens in the relationship. You're no longer in the relationship. And now you're having problems getting a new one because of those unaddressed issues. And now you're like, oh wow, I really got to get on this. And now you start to take care of a deep-seated issue that was a problem for a while. I mean, I'm trying my best in that regard, but that's a different story. So remember, learn to protect yourself and your communities, and spread the word that that's what we should be doing now, because that's all that can protect people in this short term. Longer term, we can see that we don't really need police as much as we thought because, hey, guess what? They weren't doing the job to begin with. And then we can start to address what we're going to do about that to get a better bang for our buck as far as hiring people to protect us. Right now, and primarily forever, it's up to us and us alone.